Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Digital Marketing class. My name is Goodness, and again, I'm your host for today. Welcome. Can you tell me where you are joining from? I'm joining from Lagos, Nigeria. As you all know, I've been your host for like the past three sessions. This is the third session, so for like the past two sessions, right? So can you tell me where you're joining from? And you can also tell me something funny about you, anything that you think that the audience should know as we kick off the class for today. Remember last week or last session, some people said they like to use Instagram, some people said they like to some people said they like to use Facebook. Even if I know that our last speaker helped us debunk a lot of myths around Facebook, right? And so maybe I can say now I'm a bit comfortable with telling my story around Facebook. Today we have a very interesting session with Daniel. And you know that platform where people dance. I know that's not all there is to the platform, but then it's that platform where we know that teenagers go there and dance and make a lot of money. So today we have Daniel to share with us some insight around those tips as to how we can make money right on TikTok. But before we go ahead to hear from Daniel, please tell me where you are joining from. I've only seen that of Eunice, and also let me know something funny or something the audience should just know about you. For me, I like to read alone in the room for hours. Now, I'm not reading because I want to share my knowledge. I'm just reading because I just enjoy it, like just being alone reading. And I feel like it also helps me sort of, or it prepared me for my 9 to 5 without me even realizing it. And I remember that for some reason, while I was reading, I would just take interest in writing. And so one of the things that I've even learned from the last session, that is from the Facebook session, is how I can express myself through Facebook, that very platform that Gen Z's run away from, right? I feel like I can go ahead and express myself, and I'm very curious about today's session and how I can even use it to tell my stories, my personal stories, or life stories, or inspiring stories, or religious stories, because I'm a Christian. So I'd like to hear from you. Tell me where you're tuning from and something fun about yourself. Hi, Gideon. Gideon says, I'm joining from you. Hello, Gideon. By the way, I'm from Akwa Ibom, so welcome, my brother. I'm more than, wow, 6 feet tall. I eat a lot, but I refuse. I know those people that eat a lot of apple, yet nothing to show for. Me, I should not even smell cheese. My cheek will grow bigger. Right? This is interesting to know about Gideon. So more comments, more comments, more comments. I'm waiting on more comments. Miriam is laughing. And also, if you are yet to tell a friend that this session has started, you're very wrong. This is a very interesting session. I'm stylishly looking at millennials and a bit of Gen Zs. You know those Gen Zs that are close to millennials. I'm stylishly looking at them that they've not told their friends because they're like, that's this particular platform. I'm not sure of how this can work for us. But me, I know and I have confidence that this platform is for you, right? So go ahead, use your WhatsApp, use your Facebook, use the learnings you've had from last week. Tell your friends about this session. We are waiting for more people to join, right? And as more people prepare to join, please let's hit the chat box and just tell me where you are joining from. An interesting fact about you. We've learned from Gideon. I'm open to more people. There's Ada on the call. There's Tosin Adewale. There's Eunice. I know that Eunice is from Lagos. There's Miriam. So please tell us where you're tuning from. I'm waiting on more comments before we have Daniel. Eunice, you're shouting. You're shouting. Off your mic. You're shouting. Ah, all right, welcome again. And happy weekend. I thought to mention, thank God it's Friday. Again, I'm your host for today. And my name is Goodness for those who just joined, right? And this webinar is brought to you by Aleph and Junior Achievement Nigeria. Now, Junior Achievement Nigeria is a non-profit that's tailored towards investing in young people between the ages of 5 to 35. And so we make use of 4 core pillars: financial literacy, work readiness, entrepreneurship, and digital literacy to invest in young people. We have week long programs, we have self-paced programs, we have webinars, and today we're going to be tilting towards webinar in partnership with Aleph, right? And I'd allow Daniel take the floor to tell us a bit about Aleph, and then you can as well kick off with the conversation on how to make money on TikTok. By the way, are you aware that billions of people are actually using TikTok? And so if you do not have an account with TikTok, you're actually wrong. And I think you don't, and today, I mean, Daniel would be able to testify that I don't think you would know how to, you have to know how to dance before you can make money on that platform. So over to you, Daniel. Thank you and welcome.
Hi guys, thanks Goodness. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Daniel Chukudi. I represent Aleph on this call. And in simple terms, Aleph is a digital marketplace, a powerhouse in Africa that houses 75% of digital landscape, especially in Nigeria, from platforms ranging from Meta to Snapchat to X, Spotify, and even TikTok. So that's the full bouquet of the services that Aleph offers in the Nigerian market and in the African markets in general. We're currently in 3 major markets in Africa. We're in the Nigerian market, the Kenyan market, and then the South African market as well. So I will start by asking each and every one of us here if we use TikTok. Please, this session is going to be very interactive, so I would want us to engage as much as you can so that we can leave with something. So tell me, do we use TikTok? Or is there a preferred platform that we're predominantly on? Yeah, go ahead.
The account is actually new.
Oh, okay, it's new. Okay. Any other person here who uses TikTok, or is there any other platform that we use here that we're partial towards? Where do we spend our time when it's social media? Do we favor Instagram? Do we favor Twitter? Okay. I'll just delve right into it. Like I said, my name is Daniel, and one fun fact about me is the fact that... Sorry, someone's saying something? Hello?
I use more Facebook and LinkedIn.
How old are you?
Uh,
How old are you? How can you be using those
I'm
serious
28.
apps? Nah, I don't believe that. That's too serious. Facebook, I don't even have a Facebook app. Yeah, but I think you should. I think after the end of the session, I think you would download the TikTok app if you don't already have it. One fun fact about me that we need to understand is that I am always on TikTok. Everybody that knows me knows that I am always on TikTok, and the reason why I'm on TikTok personally is because I think all the other platforms, for me, or personally, from a user perspective, all the other platforms have been contaminated with one issue or another. It's either X is filled with toxicity and people going at each other. Instagram is just filled with nonsense every day. But TikTok is much more fun. It's a good way to connect with brands. It's a good way to connect with creators. You learn on TikTok. You're also entertained on TikTok. It's fun, which is why I'm always on the app. And I think it's something that people on this call would also, agree that TikTok makes the most sense compared to other platforms from a user perspective. So going straight into why we're having this conversation today, the topic is to master creative ways to monetize on TikTok. I will just go through a couple of points on how we can monetize our time on TikTok. I would talk about understanding the audience, because before you can monetize on any platform, not just TikTok, you need to understand the demographics. Demographics majorly means what people are on the platform, their age, and some other information about them. You need to understand the TikTok audience because they differ from the audience on Instagram, for instance. I'd also be talking about building your own TikTok presence, and then I would also be looking at monetization strategies. And then we'll also delve into what we call the TikTok creator marketplace. For you to actually, one of the ways for you to monetize your presence on TikTok is to leverage what we call the creator marketplace on TikTok. And then finally, we'll discuss creative monetization ideas. So introduction, first of all, for those of us that don't know TikTok, TikTok is fairly new in the market. I think TikTok became very prominent in Nigeria during COVID. I'm not sure about other parts of the world, but for Nigeria, I think it became a mainstream during COVID, and since then it has risen to becoming, I would say, the second largest, if not third largest, if not second largest social platform in Nigeria. Globally, TikTok has emerged a powerhouse for content creators to monetize their creativity, which is why we'll be exploring strategies and techniques for us to effectively monetize our presence here on TikTok. So I'll go straight into what the TikTok audience is like. First of all, in terms of the number of people on TikTok, we have over 1 billion people globally on the platform. I personally don't have the numbers for Nigeria yet. I would have loved to share that. And the truth of the matter is the demographics of the people on the platform are majorly millennials and the Gen Z. I think the Gen Alpha too are also coming on board because I think it's a platform that also appeals to them as well. But currently, the Gen Zs are predominantly on the platform, and then a bit of millennials like myself also enjoy the benefits of being on TikTok. And one thing about the audience on this platform is that they love very short, fun, and authentic content. Unlike Instagram, where you can just post pepper them pictures and all of those other Godwin type of content. On TikTok, it's very authentic. People share their authentic stories. If we're on TikTok here, I'm sure we've seen a couple of trends that are going around. There's a particular trend. People are talking about the nasty experiences that they've had. That's how authentic TikTok is, where people can be authentic, share their own personal stories, and then their audience can also connect, with that relatable content. And then for the type of content that is has been shown to be very effective on the platform, I know Goodness had mentioned earlier, she said it's a dancing app. It's more than a dancing app, but yes, dancing challenges are what made TikTok what it is today. It started out as a dancing app, but it has become something much bigger than that over the years. Comedians also see it as a platform for them to push their crafts, having comedy skits on the platform, because it gives you a longer form content than Instagram. You can have video up to like 3 minutes or so, if I'm not mistaken. And then on TikTok as well, people also connect with content around life hacks, where you share, your experiences and share, okay, this is how to hack this particular process and so much more. But the truth of the matter is the audience on the platform are all about realness. They're all about authenticity. So if you don't come correct with your authenticity, you might not be able to grow that audience to start with. One particular creator on TikTok, I think those of us on TikTok here would know because he's been the longest on the platform since 2019 up until today. We have a lot of them now doing their thing, but one particular one that people who have been on the platform would be familiar with is a guy called Rodney. And if you see most of his content was centered around authenticity and relatable type scenarios where he would do a skit around relatable scenarios and then the audience will connect with it. That's the kind of content that the audience on the platform connects with, something that is much more real, nothing fake like you'd have on the other social media platforms. Another thing you need to understand, apart from knowing what content works best on the platform, is to also understand your audience, know your audience very well. So to know your audience, you need to create content that connects with them in a way that it gets you engagement so that you can build a fan base. The first step for you to even monetizing your presence on the platform is to grow a fan base. And the only way you can grow a fan base is for you to push out content that is relatable with your audience and then they can engage with. That way you keep growing that audience to the point where monetization can now be a thing, right? So let's talk about building your TikTok presence because that's the very first step. Apart from knowing what the platform is about and what content to push, you also need to understand how to build your TikTok presence. One way for you to build your TikTok presence and also get that engagement that you want on the platform is to use trending sounds and effects. So the platform is all about engaging with some trends, and it's also a way to also set certain trends. Now, one way for you to jump on that is for you to create content that leverages these trends. And the trends could be sounds, it could be memes, whatever it is that your audience connects with, you jump on them. And another way for you to actually build your presence is to show your personality and share what you're passionate about. That's the beautiful thing about TikTok that I like. You can be as much as you saying, I know goodness you say you're from Akwa Ibom, you can as much as tell people, okay, this is how you cut afang, or you just share content about cutting afang, and before you know it, people that actually like that type of content will gravitate towards you cutting afang. That's the very beautiful thing. Your passion will shine through any content that you push on the platform, and people will connect with it. They can just see that you're very passionate about this thing, regardless of what it is that you're pushing, and then they will connect with it. Like I mentioned earlier, your content has to be authentic, right? So you need to show that personality and share what you're passionate about. Number 3 point for you to creating that presence on the platform is to create your own unique style. So whether it has to do with how you present your content, for instance, if you're going to start with some creators would do what we call like a story time, and then the ladies will be making up while they're giving gist. Some people would do it the YouTube style and say, hello guys, welcome to blah, blah, blah. It just depends on how you want to create your own unique style that people can connect with. Like I mentioned earlier, you have to be authentic for people to engage. Another thing, and the number 4 point for you to building your presence on the platform, this is supposed to have been number 1, is to create a cool username and theme for your profile. Now, when I say cool, I mean you need to understand that the platform is a platform for cool, trendy people. So your name cannot be Emedi1245, and you think people would actually connect with that. It has to be something that's really catchy, something that's really trendy, something that people can actually remember, something that is cool, something that is, really in line with exactly what you're pushing. And then another point you need to pay attention to while building your TikTok presence is to post regularly and engage with your followers, especially in the beginning. You need to post regularly. A lot of people get very discouraged when they start. Okay. Yes, you can ask your question. I see someone's hands raised. Okay. So moving ahead, another thing I was trying to mention was to post regularly and engage with your followers. Now, the beautiful thing about TikTok is that you will start to see engagement pretty much when you start, especially if you already have friends that you're connected to on the platform. But another thing, just like on every other platform where you're creating content, you need to pay attention to is that you have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, you would not have that engagement that you require for you to build that following. You have to be consistent. You're not going to post today and then not post, whatever the frequency of posting that you have decided and it is what your audience like. You have to be consistent with the number of posts that you put out. Because if you're not consistent, people are going to take it that you're not serious. They're going to just, leave you behind. Every day there are new creators that are coming on board. So you need to be consistent regardless of the level of engagement that you have. You need to just stay at it. It could be 1, even 0 engagement on your content. As long as it's authentic, as long as it is engaging, just leave it there. At some point people will engage with it, but just be consistent and engage with your followers. So if someone comments, I see a lot of people that are trying to be creators on the platform, and when they start out by creating content and then they just have maybe a few hundred followers and people engage with their content by liking and commenting, they just ignore the comments. You go back as a start out content creator, you need to go back and engage with those comments, to create that engagement with your audience and make them feel kind of relatable to the content or can relate to your content. Then another point to pay attention to in building your TikTok presence is to ride the trend wave. And for you to ride the trend wave, you need to be predominantly on the platform. If you're someone who likes going through all the platforms evenly, I don't think you would be able to actually succeed being a creator on one platform. That's why most creators or most influencers or people that actually monetize their presence on any social media platform predominantly spend a lot of time on that platform of choice. Why I say that is if you do not spend, like me, if you check my phone activity, if I'm on social media, trust me, I'm not anywhere but TikTok. I am there 24/7. And the reason why is because for me, it's just a way to relax because I have a day job already that is stressful. I can't, start going into the business of content creation right now, but it just makes me relax. And one thing I noticed about it is that the longer you spend on the platform, the more you're able to fish out trends or for you to come in contact with trends, because you can miss out on trends if you're not there, and trends move very quickly. For instance, if there's a trend about a sound or a meme or whatever it is, the first adopters of that trend, the very first people that jump on that trend are the ones that are going to get the most engagement when that trend becomes the next big thing. So you need to learn how to stay on the platform so that you can ride the trend wave. Now, another way to also build your presence is to jump on viral challenges and create your own twist. So if there are challenges around, maybe say a song or music, whatever, you must not dance. Yes, it's a dancing platform, but there's always a twist around it. People are very creative these days. It might be a song, and then people now turn it into a meme. Just jump on it in your own, have your own twist. If you want to dance, it's fine to dance. I'm not saying you shouldn't dance, but you can dance. But just learn how to be unique with what the challenges are, the viral challenges are. And then finally, get creative with filters and editing tricks. So one other app that works in tandem with TikTok is the CapCut app. And the CapCut app helps creators edit their videos and put all of those tricks that we love when we see all of the content that we see on the platform. So you need to also learn how to leverage filters and leverage all those editing tricks for you to create that engaging content for your audience to engage with. And something else I would like to point out that TikTok has created recently, I think it's just a couple of weeks ago that this came on board, is what we'd call the creator searchlights. What that does is like you can search for what people on TikTok are looking for, what they're engaging with, so that you have an idea of what type of content you want to focus on, what niche you want to be. So that's something you need to also look into. And then delving into the money side of TikTok. Once you are done with these tips that I have shared with you in creating that followership, because you need to create followers, you need to create an audience, you need to have people engage with you. It takes time. Trust me, it's not something that would happen in one day, in months. Sometimes it might take up to like even a year plus 2 years for you to actually get to the point where you have that critical mass for you to start monetizing. But you need an audience first, because the monetization strategies I'm going to be talking about cannot happen if you don't have an audience to actually leverage monetization. Now, ways to make money on TikTok are part of this following. Number one is just like on Instagram and Facebook, especially Facebook. I'm not sure if Facebook is monetized in Nigeria, but I know that Facebook is really huge on monetization when it comes to like people engaging with your content, especially like watching your videos, with the amount of video views that you have, just like you have on YouTube, where if you have a certain amount of video views, that would get you a certain amount of thousands of dollars, depending on how many views you can get. That's the same thing on TikTok. However, in Africa, that has not been open yet. And I feel the reason why TikTok has not opened that yet is because they haven't also opened the app for advertising, because the money they're going to pay creators is going to actually come from advertising. So I personally believe that once advertising is open on TikTok, which should happen before August, that's the news that we're getting. Once that opens, then I think that creators can now earn money through the number of views that they're getting on their content. But that is the number one and major way most content creators outside Africa actually earn money on TikTok. And some of them earn as much as $100,000, depending on how much views that they have and how many followers that they have. And the only way you can get views is dependent on how many people you have that are following you. So that's one way to make money on TikTok. Another way to make money on TikTok is to partner with brands for sponsored posts and collaborations. This is what we also call, in the marketing world, we call it influencer marketing. So if you have a following, if you've built a following over time, you now have leverage to approach brands for, collaborations and then for sponsorships, basically. A lot of brands are looking for creators to jump on to reach their target audience. So many creators are leveraging on that. You know, they give you, for instance, say Techno wants to launch their new flagship phone. They reach out to you and say, okay, you know what, Mahmoud, you have so and so followers. We've checked your engagement rate. People engage with your content regularly. Please create content around our new phone that we're launching to the market, and they'll pay you handsomely for it. I used to be on the agency side of things in the past, and I know that I have had to engage a lot of influencers and pay them serious money for sponsorship and collaboration. So it's one major way, especially in Nigeria. I think that's the major way, because if you can't get paid directly by TikTok through the creator fund, like I mentioned, it's not open in Africa yet. The major way most creators in Nigeria are getting paid is through brand sponsorships and collaboration. And one thing to also pay attention to that I need to mention is in building your audience, you need to also understand that you yourself, you're a brand. So the look and feel of the type of content that you put out will determine the type of brands that would approach you. You need to be very professional. You need to be very your content needs to, exude excellence. It needs to also have a thought process around it. It needs to also be engaging, authentic, relatable, but it has to have a look and feel, so that over time people attribute you to being of a certain caliber of type content creator, basically, so that you don't price yourself out of the market when it comes to negotiations with most of these brands when it comes to those type of sponsorship and collaborations. Another way that content creators or people on TikTok get to monetize their presence on TikTok is to sell merch. Now, merch is merchandise, and that ranges from t-shirts to mugs. It doesn't matter what it is. For instance, anyone on TikTok here, like me, would know that there's a trend that started out by some guy in America, some young Black American guy called soft guy era. He came out and said, okay, he's in a soft guy era, soft guy era. Before you knew, the entire thing blew up. Next thing you know, this guy is creating pictures of t-shirts, mugs, carrying soft guy era, and is already pre-selling on his TikTok page, and people are already buying because you can actually buy directly on the page, on TikTok page. People are already buying, and if you have, for instance, you have 2-3 million people, imagine if a percentage of that, you charge them 2,000 or 2,500 naira to buy your merchandise. That's a huge amount of money that's coming to your pocket. So, like I said, you can sell merchandise, you can sell products, you can sell your services to followers. I know someone on TikTok who mows lawns. He mows lawns with this lawnmower, and he's very good at it. What he does for his own TikTok content is to go to abandoned houses where the grasses are overgrown, and then just mows them. Keeps his camera and just videos him mowing the lawn, and then sometimes he will engage with neighbors of the abandoned property, and then he mows the lawn, and then you see the before and the after, which is quite pleasing to see. And that's how he grew his own following, just by mowing lawn. And that is his service. That's what he does, as a day job. So that's a way of him also selling his own service, to his followers. And of course, people would always engage with that type of content, and then would also reach out to him when they have a lawn to mow or anything that has to do with the service that he renders. And then another way to make money on TikTok is to get paid to promote products that you love. This is also almost like brand sponsorship, but what this the differentiator for this is the fact that in this case you are promoting what you already love. So if it has, like I said, if it has to do with cooking, for instance, because you are someone who likes to cook, or for instance, let's say, who knows Okpeyami here? Let's make this engaging. Who knows Okpeyami on Instagram, the food critic? Does anybody know Okpeyami on Instagram who's like a food critic? He's pretty huge on Instagram. This is interesting. Are we here? Guys, does anybody know Okpeyami?
We are
Let's
here.
make this engaging. Have you heard of the guy Okpeyami, the one with the very deep voice that reviews food? He goes to restaurants and then he checks out, what the food is like, and gives a review. That's him doing something that he actually loves. And for that, obviously, he will get paid to promote. A restaurant can call him to say, okay, come and review. Obviously, he's not going to give a bad review. But because everybody thinks that Okpeyami is an authority when it comes to food, that is a way of people actually getting traction, to their restaurants if they engage Okpeyami. And then, Mahmoud, your hands are up again. Let's have it. Hi, Mahmoud. Mahmoud, you're on mute if you're talking. You need to unmute yourself. Okay. So finally, another way to make money on TikTok is to turn your hobby into an online business. We've had a lot of people on TikTok start out doing stuff that was just an hobby, whether it has to do with, I know someone who started creating crochet type material, another person that, started capturing herself beading. There's so many people that just do, carry out their hobbies on the platform, and then over time, that blew up into an online business. You never know, how your hobby can turn into an online business when you just stay at it. Some people just started out as an hobby. It wasn't anything too serious, and because of how viral their content went, it became a big thing for them to now convert it into an online business. Hi, Mahmoud. Does anybody have any questions so far? I would like to take questions and then continue.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Mahmoud.
My question here is about so you talk about if somebody wants to get money through TikTok and he can finance something that is familiar.
I can't hear you clearly, Mahmoud. Your network seems to be breaking. Can you repeat what you said? I lost you for a bit.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello? Are you hearing me?
Yeah, but it's the line is it's pretty bad. But go ahead. Let me see if I can.
How am I going to advertise on the like as a teacher who is having experience and
Mahmoud,
always
I can't really hear you well. I think I would suggest you just type it in the message box. Just type in the message box, and then I will respond to that question. But if any other person has a question and then their line is clear, you can ask. Mahmoud, I'm waiting for your question. Just type it in the message box, and then I'll attend to it. Okay. So moving on. Like I had mentioned, we had just talked about ways to make money on TikTok. Another thing to look at, of course, is to see how to leverage TikTok's creator marketplace. Now, what is TikTok's creator marketplace? TikTok creator marketplace is just where creators and brands meet to make magic happen. That's just it in short. It's also a place where creators can apply for partnerships, with your favorite brands. So it's just a place where brands and creators collaborate or meet to collaborate on campaigns. And how to join and start earning is to showcase your best content and engagement stats. So in the creator marketplace, you're showing your best content. If you've been producing content for quite some time and then one of your content has the most views, for instance, let's say 1 million views, you're supposed to showcase that content as well as the engagement statistics, which is the 1 million views. Other statistics are there also that you can share as well. And then you can apply on that in the marketplace. You can apply for campaigns that match your vibe and audience. One thing that is pretty huge on TikTok and was one of the reasons why TikTok became as big as it is today is music. And like we had mentioned earlier, TikTok started out as a dancing app. It started out with music. Until today, a lot of artists engage with creators to promote their music. So the creator marketplace is also a place where creators can apply for campaigns that match, your vibe and your audience. Tips for nailing brand deals in the creator marketplace, like I mentioned, is to be yourself and stay true to your style, and also being paying attention to building your brand as well. Apart from the fact that you want to be engaging with brands, you need to also understand that your presence on the platform is in and of itself a brand. So right from the scratch, you need to be very, not saying you have to use the best equipment, but whatever equipment that you have to create content on the platform, it needs to be crisp, it needs to be fresh, it needs to be professional, it needs to be clean, so that you can carve a brand around the niche that you have decided, to pursue. That way, you're able to negotiate fair deals that work for you and your followers in the creator marketplace. Now, we've talked about how content creators can leverage TikTok to make money. I've listed out a couple of ways that can happen. Now, I am going to be discussing with us creative monetization ideas. So what that means is I'm going to be putting in our heads, some thought process for us to go out there and put what we have learned into action. Number one is start where you are. So what that means is a lot of people we would want to wait for perfection. I know we always want to get the best camera phone. Some people want to get the best DSLR camera. Some people want to get the best gadget, the best equipment, but start where you are. Just make it clean, crisp, and professional. Another monetization idea you need to have in terms of your thought process is to think outside the box. So offer exclusive content or behind the scenes packages to fans. There's what we call Patreon on YouTube. Patreon is just like the back door, or let's say your own, as a content creator, your content space is your house. Now, your bedroom, which is more very private, is what we call the Patreon space, where you push out content, but you leave some very juicy parts of your content for exclusive, for subscription. So people would pay, a fee for them to access that part, of your content. So you can also create and sell digital products like custom filters and stickers as well. That's thinking outside the box. Now, you also can share inspiring success stories on the platform. If you know of stories that are inspiring, maybe some TikTok creators that have turned their hobbies into successful businesses, you can share that, and who knows, you can build an audience around that type of niche. You can also learn from others and get inspired to make money doing what you love, Then, for a monetization idea that we can leverage is to keep experimenting and just have fun on the app. Because one thing we need to understand is that TikTok as an app, and also the algorithm that also determines the dynamics of the app, is always changing. Always changing. At the time that I joined TikTok, it was very easy for your content to go around. In fact, my very first content got me almost 1,000 followers. And ever since that time, it's been hard for me to even get 5, 6 followers. Not because TikTok is hard to get followers, it's just because I haven't been pushing content as much. But it took me at the beginning just one for me to get that much. So you need to just keep experimenting to see what the audience you have really gravitate towards, or what is more like sticky for them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. With that, and then having a clear direction on what you actually want to have as a niche for your content on TikTok, you can be the next big thing. Before I close and then keep the floor open for us to ask our questions, I wanted to just share with us, it's not something that is best practice, but another way for you to, people are beginning, Nigerians are very creative, and the audience on the platform have also found creative ways to also get paid directly, even in Nigeria, even though that is not open to the Nigerian audience. So some Nigerians have creatively found a way to get a TikTok account that can get you paid directly from TikTok based on the engagement that you get on your content. And that's they do by getting an account outside the shores of the country. So if you have someone who is abroad, You can tell them to create an account for you, a TikTok account for you, and then if you follow due process, after a while, you build a following where you can get paid directly from TikTok. So that's another way for you to like cut through the corners to get an account that will get you paid. People are doing that and are getting a lot of success from that. And finally, to close, another way to monetize your presence on TikTok is to also leverage knowledge, basically. So becoming a digital marketing expert, for instance, would also open the doors of opportunity for employment. It also opens the opportunity of actually engaging with brands to run campaigns for them. Now you're not going to be acting as a creator, you're going to be acting as a marketer. So if you have the prerequisite knowledge, prerequisite digital marketing knowledge, you're able to like pitch ideas to brands on how to help them advertise on the platform. And yes, you can be on your way to making millions. And that's pretty much it. Do we have any questions? Now is the time.
Thank you so much, Daniel. I think it's just me. Like, his wealth of knowledge is so much, and I've learned a lot. I have a question, but then I'll just mention again,
Okay.
if you have any question, understand that you can drop it on the chat box, right? Or you can actually raise your hands on mute and then speak. So Gideon has a question. So let's take Gideon's questions first. He says, how does a professional monetize TikTok?
Yeah, two ways. Like mentioned, is either if you say you're a professional, are you a professional digital marketer? Then the best way to monetize it is for you to pitch ideas, pitch proposals to brands on how to help them market on the platform as a marketer. And then even a professional can also be a content creator as well. Those are the two major ways. It's either you're creating content or you're marketing for brands, basically. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you. So my question would be, do you think that some people are more talented in content creation as it pertains to some platform over another set of people? For example, I've seen people who maybe they joined I'd say using TikTok as a case study, they joined TikTok 2 years ago and they are making lots of money. They have a lot of followers. I mean, a lot of engagement. While there are people who have been there for a very long time, yet nothing to show for it. And they are actually investing their time in that platform. So do you think some people are more talented with content creation as it pertains to different platforms than some others?
Thanks, goodness, for that question. I'll tell a story, and then that will just give or put things into perspective. Way back a couple of years ago, I had a friend of mine who most people on this platform would even know today. He's one of the, when it comes to social media space, celebrities and influencers, he's someone that is known. He used to be the biggest influencer on Twitter. At the time when he started out on Twitter, he had lost his job. He didn't have any job. So he was 100% dedicated to being on Twitter. That level of commitment was what got him to becoming the #1 influencer when it comes to Twitter at the time. His name is Pamilari. I'm sure a lot of us know who Pamilari is. Pamilari used to be like the biggest influencer on Twitter. So it's the same thing. Sometimes people start out and then they're not consistent. Like I mentioned, one of the ways for you actually to build followership is to be consistent. Nobody has the keys, to being getting that followership on TikTok or being big on TikTok or in any other platform. It just takes consistency. It takes dedication. It actually takes ingenuity. You need to also be very creative. You need to stand out. I think one thing we need to point out is for you to actually, apart from other things you're going to be doing, for you to actually, get there quickly is for you to be authentic. You're not going to say, oh, okay, this person is dancing like this. I have to do my content around dancing like that. people are already seeing a lot of people dancing that way. So you're not going to stand out. Nobody's going to follow you because we're seeing a lot of people dance that way. So you need to be authentic. Most people that get there fast are authentic, and then they, carry out all of those points that I mentioned earlier: being consistent, jumping on trends, spending the most time on the platform. And once you do that, you're well on your way. And another thing you also need to pay attention is don't look at who started out after you or who did not start after you. Just stay in your lane and just keep at it. Just stay in your lane and keep at it. I know a lot of big guys in the digital space who, at a point, some people came after them and then surpassed them. For instance, there's a guy on YouTube, Tayo Aino. He's a lifestyle vlogger. When I knew Tayo Aino for the first time, sometime around 2017, 2018. He was doing amazing content. His content, you could see that he put a lot of work. You can see he put a lot of money. The equipment he was using, his content was so crisp, so clear. His audio was clean. He was showing, beautiful places in Nigeria at the time when I started traveling around. But he wasn't getting as much engagement as, a lot of people that came in after him. But at some point, he picked up, and then right now, I think Tayana is the biggest. Before the likes of I've forgotten the other guy's name came on board. But for as far as Nigeria is concerned, when it comes to lifestyle and travel, Tayana is the biggest. But for the longest of time, he wasn't big. So just stay consistent, keep pushing, keep learning, and also be open to ideas. Be open to just be dynamic, basically. Don't just stay stuck in one place. If something is not working, you change, you pivot immediately. So I think there's no key to it. It's just the same recipe, but you just have to keep at it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you so much, Daniel, for that answer. I think it was a lot rapid answer. So there's a question from Adewumi. It says, is it professional to monetize a brand page one is managing?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. No, it's not. It's not professional at all. The brand page is not to. It's non-profit. The brand page is to gather engagement, to connect with their audience, to sell, but not to monetize. It's a different thing. The brand page is to sell the brand product, but you're not going to be looking at saying, okay, you're going to use the brand page to sell another. As long as it is the brand product, that's fine. But if it's not the brand product that you're selling, you don't have any business doing that. It's not professional at all. Just stick to the brand.
Okay, so another question, two more questions actually. One from Gideon and another one for Mahmood. So Gideon says, does TikTok accept AI generated content?
Yes, it does. But the thing is, I would say stay clear of AI generated content because it's not authentic. You can just easily go on any AI to put a prompt and then it will that is cutting the corners. And TikTok, it does not encourage that. I'm not saying it's going to stop anything, but I don't think it is, a line that you should toe. And most AI generated content on TikTok, you would see there's always a tag, a banner that is tagged AI generated. It will always tell the audience that this content is AI generated. So yes, it does allow it, but I don't think it's the way to go if you want to actually monetize. But if you're having fun, you can go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to take the question from Mahmood, and then we go over to the benefits that other people can learn from high-level persons. So Mahmood says that I want your advice with how I can get money through my profession as a teacher on TikTok. I have many students under my guidance, and I can group them in both sciences and technology. So
Absolutely, that's amazing. To be honest, I think it's one niche that has not been explored yet on TikTok. I think that's an amazing place to play in Mahmood. It's really, really amazing. And I think it's going to be the next big thing, which is education. You can start out just by putting your camera in front of your board, whether it's the blackboard or whatever board that you use to teach, and then you take lessons. You teach basically. It's just teaching through TikTok. I think a good way to go about it is to look at what the curriculum is like or whatever it is. I think it's called syllabus, when it has to do with certain exams. Right now, I heard that the JAM result that just was recently released was, students failed woefully. So I think it's a good way to look at the JAM syllabus and see, okay, you know what, I'm going to be someone who's going to reach, an audience that requires these learnings basically, and then these teachings. You just put your camera and then you go through different courses and just stay consistent. Don't look at it. Oh, just two people liked it today. One person did not like it. It was just keep at it. Keep at it. Engage with whoever asks question on your post. Engage with them. Answer their questions. Their questions sometimes will give you an idea of the next content for you to put out. So yes, it's a great way. It's an amazing way. I think you already have a niche as a teacher. I think it's an amazing way to go. Yeah, absolutely you can.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daniel. And just to add to what he said, because I know that the education space is one angle that I'm quite passionate about. So, I remember there's a teacher that I've been following. She's from I think China. I'm not sure where exactly, but now she's currently resigning as a teacher. She posts a lot of content. I don't know how many people knows the content on emotional damage, right? Now she's currently resigning from teaching to content creation, right? And she's asked for us to actually follow her, engage her content because she doesn't feel like she has created she'll do so much impact by just being in the classroom. So I think that the educational space is one space that people are not leveraging as much as they should for content creation. And guess what? Young people are actually waiting for this content, short content that are very impactful, right? Especially in the northern region where it feels like there's some level of hostility to their education, right? So, Mahmoud, I think that is something that you should actually go into. Thank you so much, Daniel, for that advice. So now I'll just allow Daniel speak to the benefits that we can actually gain from Aleph courses. There are ranges of courses that Aleph offers, right? And it's something that, okay, now we've had a one-off webinar around how we can make money on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook, but then for sustainability with knowledge, right? There are courses that we need to learn, and Halef offers those courses. So I'll just give it over to Daniel to just let us know some of the courses that we can benefit from. Over to you, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks. Aleph offers a range of courses around digital marketing. And what this does is just prepare you for the digital marketing world beyond content creation and monetization through content creation. You can also start out a career in digital marketing, where, for instance, on TikTok, even as TikTok as a platform, you can be employed by TikTok as a platform. The only way a platform like TikTok would employ you is if you have the prerequisite skills, which the foundations are in digital marketing, and that is the education that Aleph offers. I will drop the link to the Digital Ad Experts by Aleph website on the chat box, and we can go there and then get much more information. And I think it's free of charge. So we can always connect on that platform to learn different areas of digital marketing, so that we can also expand our horizon and open up the world of opportunities for us beyond content creation. You can also start out a career in digital marketing. Who knows? At some point, become the next, I don't know, big marketing shots, in the country. So I have dropped the link to the platform where you can register or check out the courses or request for any help. And yes, and then if you have any questions, I think that platform allows you to ask. You can enroll, you can ask questions. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I saw a question here that said,
I was going to mention.
I don't know, Anebe
Do you want
Damasi.
to? Okay.
Yeah, Nebet says, thanks so much for the information so far. But I'd like to ask something. No, nothing is useless, Nebet. What if I'm planning to make my profile post about me? Anything new on my designs and drawing trends right now? Yes, your post can be about you. As long as you, like I said, some people would talk about um, information that there's a guy called Kigan. I can't remember his full name, but Kigan. He teaches people, how to like produce good content, the type of camera to use. If you're using a phone, he tells you how to use the good, a phone to get good content. So it can be about you. It can be a story time. It can be anything about you. Yes, and even your designs, like we had mentioned earlier, and joint trend. But how to grow it? I mentioned earlier, if you were on the call, how to grow it is to just stay consistent and pay attention to your audience. Don't just go ahead and do what you want to do. If you put out any content, you also have to look at, okay, are people engaging with it? Do they like it? Does it make sense to my audience? If it doesn't, you need to stop. We need to you need to be able to detach yourself from ego, where you just feel, oh, I want to just push out my content, I want to push out my content. No, 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 no. You need to also pay attention to what the audience actually wants for you to, be able to grow your accounts, and of course, once you pay attention to them and you put out content that they can relate with, you will see your account grow over time. Sure. Goodness, would you take the final question?
All right. The next question from Mahmoud. Mahmoud, I think that one way that we can help you is to just share with you this link. I know that the link has been dropped on the chat box, so you can make use of the link to just figure your way around. And also, you can also stay tuned to our social media posts just to get to know how you can get more information concerning creating content and the likes, right? And if you need more advice, we can also share with you different links, right? Just reach out to info@j-nigeria.org, right? So I hope that helps you, Mahmoud. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you for the
Pleasure.
insight. I think it was a very insightful session. I mean, TikTok, you need to stay to your brand. You need to be authentic, to give yourself time to grow, right? And I think that's something that we in this generation we need to learn as we go on with fighting for visibility in different aspects of our lives, right? So I want to say a very big thank you to everyone that has joined this session. It's not bye-bye. It's not bye-bye, but it's just me saying bye for now. There are more important information to come from Junior Achievement Nigeria, more webinars to come. So stay tuned on Instagram and on Twitter. We are J Nigeria. On Facebook and then on LinkedIn, we are Junior Achievement Nigeria. So kindly follow us on this platform so that you can get to know some of the things that we offer, right? And you can even partner with us. You can volunteer with us, especially for young people that are or people who are willing to just explore their skills in different areas. So there's avenue for you as Junior Achievement Nigeria. So if you need more information, kindly reach out to us at info@j-nigeria.org, or you can also reach out to us via our DM and the various platforms that I've mentioned. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for spending your 1 hour with us. I am sure that this was one of the best 1 hour you've spent this week. So bye, everyone, and please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.